All right, guys. So the election is over. It's not the result that I think many of us wanted. Is the result that many people did want, though. And, it's going to take a lot of time to reckon with that and reconcile with that. But I wanted to share, my thoughts after collecting them a bit with you guys, and also just kind of an announcement of what I'm going to be kind of doing with the channel in the foreseeable future. And so let's just cover that first. I know there's not that many of you out there who watch these videos, but for those of you who do, I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I will be stepping away from the channel and focusing on my other YouTube channels, more kind of entertainment focused work. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to disengage, from the political conversation. I may post a video occasionally, but it's not going to be every week or every couple weeks or even every couple months, possibly. I've decided that for the sake of my mental health and that of those around me, my friends and family, I'm going to step away from like mainstream politics, and that is a suggestion that I recommend honestly for everybody. Just turn off the TV, turn off CBS and CNN and Fox or MSNBC, whichever side of the aisle you're on, turn them off because they have an agenda. And that agenda is to make money for their stakeholders, to sensationalize things, to get us all worked up. And whether you're on the right or the left, they're taking advantage of us. They're manipulating us. They're playing on our fears. They're getting us all ramped up. And they're not having meaningful, authentic conversations most of the time. It's really inauthentic. The people in mainstream media and even in a lot of fringe media are very wealthy. They're safe. They're protected. And it doesn't really matter who the president is or who's in power because they can just buy their way out of whatever bad situation they might find themselves in. Now, for the rest of us Americans who can't just buy our way, buy a plane ticket and an apartment in some other country, right? If we had to leave, if they had to leave the country, those radio hosts, those so-called journalists in mainstream media, they're going to be safe, right? They're going to have a place to go. They can escape if they need to. They can buy their way out of any problem. So Trump is not scary for them, right? So they're disingenuous and they're just beholden to their stakeholders. So I'm turning them off. I'm tuning them out. And I'm going to focus on local issues, more local media, and the community, my community. Here in the New England area, in the Northeast, we, overwhelmingly support the truth. We are empathetic, and we are going to be safe. All right. We are going to be protected. We have politicians here in the Northeast who actually do care about us, who do care about their constituents, and are not just here to use us. Okay. So if you're scared, if you're feeling like you're in, say, a red state and you're worried about your, access to abortion or the climate or, uh, you know, your safety, what Trump could do to you, if you're really scared that he could harm you in some way or his administration could harm you, his policies, people on the right, come to the Northeast, come to New England. It's more expensive here, but we have better quality of life. We have better services, healthcare, protections, you know, when there are situations with the climate, right? If there is a big storm, if your house is impacted, you know, there are safeguards here that other states don't really seem to have as much of, at least from people that I've talked to outside of the Northeast, right? And, you know, in terms of actual climate issues, disasters, problems, the least of them seem to happen here in the Northeast than of pretty much anywhere else in the country. So, look, as concerned and worried as I am about what a second Trump presidency will do for the broader world, I am not concerned for my own safety because of where I live here in the Northeast. I do feel safe here, and I want to put that message out there to people. And I want to say to any people who did support Trump, you know, if you're living here in the Northeast, I think that that's great, you know, and I don't want to demonize you anymore. I don't want to think of, you know, we need to stop thinking about the other side, whatever your side is. We need to stop thinking about the other side as deplorable and depraved and a bunch of demons, all right? We're all human beings. We're all fellow human beings. And honestly, I think at the core of why Trump won, it comes down to selfishness and a lack of interest in community and lifting up your community and helping out your neighbors and being kind to others in your community. We've turned inward, you know, we've turned really inward. We've become really selfish. And that selfishness has led to anger and fear. We don't trust other people. And, you know, we're putting our faith in this guy who we think cares about us, right? You think that Trump cares about you, but he really doesn't. He's just another selfish, sociopathic rich guy who's in it for himself. But I don't think of you, if you voted for him, that you're a terrible person. Okay? And I would hope that you wouldn't think that way of me, you know, that we could find some common ground, because on most issues, just the day to day stuff, we're probably mostly in agreement. But let's be kind to each other, and especially in this time. Okay, people are scared, people are on edge. Let's not gloat or laugh and belittle and put down other people. You know, hear them out, give them a chance. Let's all try to move forward despite everything. Let's try to be a little less selfish. Okay? Let's try to uplift the people in our communities, because it will only make our lives better. If you live in a community that is supportive, your life is only going to feel better, even if the groceries are still high and gas prices are still high and the weather is terrible and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's important, it's good to reach out to your community. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be focusing on my community, the local politics, the issues that I feel that I actually can make a difference in. Now, I know this has been rambling, and if you have made it to this point in the video, then I really appreciate it. Just, you know, be safe out there, but don't give up hope. You know, the day-to-day stuff is going to be more or less the same. You know, it's not going to change that much. We'll see how the world reacts, and we'll see what happens with these crises going on in the world. I am very scared for Ukraine, for the Palestinians, people in the Middle East, and people around Russia. But, you know, here in the US, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay.